All right, here we are for my Star Wars tier list. Star Wars is the franchise of kind of like the big three, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, that stuck with me the most into my adulthood. And that's not really by much. I mean, it's not to say that the other two, I've never been a Lord of the Rings person. I was a Harry Potter kid when I was in growing up. I've kind of lost that in my adult years. Just, I don't know, been there, done that. I look back fondly, don't love J.K. Rowling. So I'm, as far as nostalgia franchises go, I'm Star Wars, I guess. I've never seen anything other than the 9 films in the quote-unquote Skywalker saga. I really don't have much interest. I might watch, I want to watch Rogue One. I've been told it's really good. And I don't really have interest in Solo or The Mandalorian or any of the other series, the cartoon series, books, any other Star Wars media. Star Wars Land at Disneyland is incredible. It's really cool. Honestly, The Rise of the Resistance is really, really incredible and cool. Star Wars Land is mostly cool. These movies, at best, are, a good time for me. A nice adventure. Might pull some tears out of me, make me laugh. High highs, low lows, that kind of thing. At worst, they just bore me. As of this week when I saw Rise of Skywalker, that's different, but I won't get into that quite yet. But let me go over some criteria for what makes a good Star Wars for me. First and foremost, are C-3PO and R2-D2 acting like the boyfriends that they are? How good are their interactions? How good are their separate adventures? I'm really here for the gay uncles that are my droid boyfriends. That's why I'm here. Secondary to that, no, I'm being ridiculous, but also they're very important. How are the planets? How are the species? Are they interesting? Are they dynamic? Is there good world building? I want to be brought somewhere interesting. And then number 3, how cool are the Star Wars? How cool are the Star Wars? Are the Star Wars cool or are they lame? How cool are the Star Wars? And then I like to get into the humor of it. Is there banter? Is it good or is it the annoying kind of banter? I'll get into that when I get into the list. But there's definitely different kinds of Star Wars humor, and it's different in each trilogy. It's different in each movie. Yeah. And then next, are the lightsaber fights cool? Are the lightsaber fights cool? They should be cool. If they're not cool, then what's the point? And then also kind of on a more serious note, what are the contributions to the cultural canon from this movie within its trilogy and within the entire franchise? So yeah, it's cool that we have this thing, but is that important to the series, or is it just kind of a one-off thing? And is it a one-off thing? That's cool, but is there a purpose? And hey, so we're gonna start off down at the bottom with F tier, The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I think it is by far the worst Star Wars movie. It's just a bad movie. I don't like it. Anytime I caught myself having fun, I reminded myself that if you think about it for more than a second, you are kind of watching such a pastiche. And honestly, parody of all the Star Wars movies that came before it. That makes me really sad. And I wish that they had done better with it. I think that Palpatine coming back is kind of the most ridiculous fan fiction-y type of thing. I just hate that it kind of retcons the entire original trilogy, like the purpose of it, and like the fact that when the Emperor dies in that trilogy, like that's the end of that, like that whole thing. Like it's the end of that whole thing. It's the end of that empire. And the fact that there is a new First Order and like something a brewing to make a new empire happen, like that's intriguing, that's new, that's Star Wars, baby. But to give us just like, oh, he's back and he sounds like the Stewie Griffin version of the Emperor, like how cheap is that? I just think it's so dumb. And then like that entire storyline from beginning to end, it's very dumb. I also just hate that, and I'll get into my thoughts on The Last Jedi, but Luke just saying I was wrong. Like, that is the worst, most bullshit little moment. It just, I'll get into that whole thing later, but I thought it was so interesting that The Last Jedi was going in a new direction, and then bada bing, bada boom. Which, like, I don't know. Again, I'll get to it. And just like the whole time the actors just seem like they're just trying to like do their best, and they're great. Like all of the actors I have the utmost respect for. They're great people, whatever. It seemed like they have fun together. But good Lord, this acting is just, they're trying to get the assignment done so they can be done because they have been put through some stuff. I, like everyone, well, like a lot of people, I completely despise that they wrote Rose out. I hate that they reduced Poe and Finn down to like just fetch adventures and like not really any interesting development of character. There's just like it's fun, like, okay, yes, the movie out of context of the rest of the series, like if you never saw any other Star Wars movie and you saw The Rise of Skywalker, you'd be like, dang, that was fun. That was a fun movie. That was a good movie. And like through cultural osmosis, I understand that like Yoda, like all of these characters have existed, and like it's cool that they brought them all back in the finale. Yeah, objectively, that is fun. But when you have 40 years of this franchise and like that many fans, you're gonna have some different expectations for what the end of that saga is going to be. And they tried to appeal to too many and ended up satisfying. Everything just kind of happens. It's like there's not a whole lot of emotional weight. It's just like a checklist. I don't know. I'm sounding like the Queen Jenny again, but like she's right. She's just right. It just feels like a checklist of bullshit. There are fun moments. It's still a Star Wars movie, but like all right, that is my only F tier. Next, we're gonna go down and we're gonna do low C tier first, which I'm gonna say Phantom Menace is my low C tier choice. The origins of C-3PO and R2-D2 are very pure, very good. I love that R2-D2 is just kind of like a scrappy, capable, feisty little dude. He screams a lot in this one, which is nice. C-3PO, you know, he's vibing, he's there. He's not quite his full self yet, but he's cute. He's fine. Their relationship hasn't quite developed into what it's going to be, but it's pretty good nonetheless. As far as like the planets and the creatures, Naboo is interesting. Naboo underwater is like kind of bubbly and dangerous and fun, and the Gungans. Okay, Gungans are interesting species to me. Jar Jar Binks is racist, and he's really cringy, and I don't like him, but I kind of just like, it's that kind of thing where you can't help but laugh a little bit at it, because it's like, yeah, that's okay, George Lucas, thank you for that. I wrote down Viceroy, the Viceroy guy. He looks like Gumby's Republican uncle. So there's that. I like the world building on Tatooine in this movie. Tatooine is a miserable place, and I would never want to live there, but the pod races look so fun. And like that double-headed commentator guy, he's a real sport. I like that Jabba the Hutt is established in this movie. Maul is kind of dumb, but I don't know. I had the double-sided lightsaber as a kid, and it was fun. I love the idea of a double-sided lightsaber. I think that Darth Maul he's cool. Like, he was kind of like a marketing thing, I think. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this intriguing villain guy with cool makeup and like a double-sided lightsaber, and ooh, he's dangerous, and he's young and spry. He's not like Darth Vader, who's like a robot man. He's like a spry alien. I don't know. I think he's a good symbol for like the aesthetic choices that happen in the prequels, of like the very vibrant colors and like the kind of out there alien designs that were made in the CGI that you couldn't get in the original trilogy. I mean, like, there was that kind of stuff, but it was not as much. Like, I feel like the aesthetic of the original trilogy is much more grounded in like the Empire and like fascism and that kind of thing, and like mechanical and a little less organic, whereas this trilogy feels, at least the Phantom Menace feels kind of like establishing of like weird other planetary like fugliness. I don't know. It's interesting. I like the look of the prequels. But this movie is dumb, and the script is not good, and some of the scenes are not great. But that lightsaber fight at the end is cool. It's iconic. Just the choreography is really good. So yeah, that's the Phantom Menace. My high C tier is going to be the next in that series, actually. Attack of the Clones. So I first saw Attack of the Clones for a movie-going birthday party when I was in the summer between 2nd and 3rd grade. And I didn't really hang out with people in the summertime, like from my elementary school. So that was cool. Just like, I was there with my school friends in the summer, and we went to the mall to see a movie, and it was the new Star Wars movie, and it was the one with like a lot of Jedi in it, and like a lot of lightsabers, and a lot of Star Wars. That's the thing about Attack of the Clones. There are a lot of Star Wars. It is dumb. The script is bad. But there are a lot of Star Wars in that Star Wars movie. I think my favorite set piece of this whole thing is the Geonosis battle. You know, everything with all of our heroes are captive, and there's this whole stadium and these scary monsters, and the sound design for all of those monsters is really cool. I think my favorite thing about this movie is the sound design. Between all the like new kind of space cruiser type things that we get on Coruscant, and like the weird planet where all the clones are being developed, Camino. I like that place. I don't know, the sound design's cool. R2D2 and C3PO in this movie are kind of cute. I love 3PO being his head being switched with a battle droid. That whole sequence is really funny. And then like R2D2 switching the head back is kind of solidifying of them being a couple, which is really nice. The whole thing with Naboo is boring as hell. You know, we all hate the sand moment. It's such a cringy line. It's so funny to make fun of. But really, honestly, the biggest gripe I have against this movie is CGI Yoda. Like, CGI Yoda throughout the whole series or throughout the whole of the prequels, it doesn't make me happy. Like, I love Puppet Yoda, and like Puppet Yoda is where I feel at home, and CGI Yoda is like an uncanny valley type thing for me. And all of that being said, his battle with Count Dooku is cool. Like, when I was a kid, I cheered when that happened. Like, we were so hype. I just like remember that, and that's such a cool memory. Is like, whoa, Yoda's got a lightsaber and he's fighting and he's flipping around and fighting this dude, and it's like, whoa. It was like listen, I don't have that many like, I dare I say, masculine happy memories, but like being there with all my my boyfriends, like my male friends, in the movie theater, like being like, wow, about a Star Wars, about Yoda, like that was cool. So like that's both like my biggest complaint and the saving grace of this movie. Hayden Christensen, I'm sorry, his performance, and Natalie Portman's really isn't good either, but like she at least has some charisma. Their chemistry is weird. Oh, that's Attack of the Clones. I don't know. We're gonna move up to B tier. So these B tier movies, they aren't necessarily the ones that if I were to put on a Star Wars, I would choose these ones automatically, but like they would be offshoots from ones that I would choose to put on. Like I would put on one and then be like, well, I want to watch that one too. So I guess you'll see what that means. So B tier, we're going to go with A New Hope. We're going to go with A New Hope. It's the original, you know. It's the thing that started it. I will say 10 out of 10. 3PO and R2, their interactions in this one are so cute. It makes them boyfriends. It's just like so fun. I love it. They're like snarky with each other. And they're just like roaming around the desert looking for their gay little nephew. And it's adorable. It's a pretty, like, the Star Wars in this movie are fine. Like, they're pretty good. They are impressive for being the context of when they came out and like creating the entire like foundational aesthetic for this series. Like everything from the main title crawl to like what Darth Vader looks like, to the sound, the music, the score, like the score itself is just so iconic, and like you really feel it in this one because you're seeing the original establishing imagery that is paired with that score. So like you get the utmost feeling of fascism through the Imperial theme and seeing Vader for the first time and like seeing all of his Imperial get up and, you know, the stormtroopers and all that kind of stuff. It is being initially just like a first movie, like a one-off movie kind of thing. For it being that, it follows a hero's journey really well. It's kind of a blueprint, honestly. When you think of like American cultural, like pop culture, Star Wars is kind of the easiest example to give someone when you talk about what a hero's journey is. You could say that, of course, about Lord of the Rings too, but I feel like specifically just talking about Star Wars A New Hope, like that is a really cohesive vision of what a hero's journey looks like. Yavin, I don't really remember much about. Tatooine here is really disgusting, and I don't like Tusken Raiders, and I don't know how to feel about Jawas, and that really unsettles me. And yeah, I don't know. The banter in this movie and like the humor is kind of annoying. It gets a lot of that like hetero, like, I don't like you, but I like you, between Han Solo and Leia. And like they're just all kind of irritable towards each other, but like Chewbacca's there and that's always chill. Like, I don't know. I will always appreciate a good Chewie like call to break the tension in a moment. Yeah, so that's A New Hope for me. That's low B tier. My high B tier choice is gonna be The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens to me is like a good, like a perfectly serviceable Star Wars. It is like satisfying within the context of like when it came out. It was like, whoa, Star Wars is returning to like a more like DIY, like real kind of look. And like you saw a return of like kind of a mixture of CGI and like practical effects, and like that was really promising. And the fact that we had Rey, a brand new kind of protagonist for the series, and we had Finn and Poe were both like really intriguing. In my notes, like that's the word that comes up the most, is intriguing. Of course, it's directed by and written by J.J. Abrams, so like you get that intrigue, mystery box kind of concept that he's so good at introducing. Kylo Ren's a really entertaining villain. I think he's an interesting parallel to the type of Star Wars fan that was really invigorated by Anakin in the prequels. I think his lightsaber, his light sword is so funny. I love that it like crackles and it has like wispy little edges. He thinks, and I love his like purposeless mask. A super Star Wars devotee might be like, well, actually, but like to me it means nothing. Except like I want to be like grandpa. The planets are really unengaging to me. I'm sorry, like, is it Jakku? Yeah. It's just like Walmart brand Tatooine to me. It's not really interesting. And then other than that, I can't name any of the planets. I'm sorry. Lupita Nyong'o's character, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name either. She's really cool. I think she's cute. And Captain Phasma's cool. I think she's a cool like update of a Boba Fett type character, but not really. Like, she's not really Boba Fett, but like aesthetically she's like a new, like a proto Boba Fett. But yeah, The Force Awakens, it's honestly, it's just cheapened by The Rise of Skywalker, because I I really like wanted this trilogy to be really good. When The Force Awakens came out, I probably would have told you it was one of, if not my favorite Star Wars movie, because I was so into the changes that were being made, like, for this new generation, and that all went like nowhere. So it settles it in a good like B tier for me. So yeah, that's my B tier. Next, I'm gonna go into my A tier. A tier movies are the ones that I'm like actually enthralled by. They're not like the masterpiece ones for me. And like, masterpiece is a funny term. Like, you'll probably, I don't know. I'm not the type to throw around like the word masterpiece for a Star Wars movie. Like, the concept of that is ridiculous to me. But if I were to call the ones that I personally feel to be the best, like, yeah, I don't know. My low A tier is The Empire Strikes Back. So Empire Strikes Back, for me, like, for some reason, I didn't see it as a kid. I watched one of the other ones of the original trilogy the most as a kid. And most of my exposure to The Empire Strikes Back was at like Chuck E. Cheese. If you went on the little or not 3D, but like the little, where you go into the little like booth and it's a Star Wars thing and like you can choose your battle. I never played it because it was like too many tokens for me to like want to play it, because you didn't get any like tickets for it. But I always liked going in and like pretending to play it, and like the AT-ATs were really cool and Hoth was really cool to me, and I was like, whoa, this is like a Star Wars that I don't know about, and like I'll never know about it because like it's not in the movie that I know. I have a little bit of weird nostalgia for it, but mostly my appreciation comes from watching it in college and then like rewatching it now. The banter is more palatable here. It's like the relationships have developed a little bit and like trust has been established. So there's less of that will they, won't they, but like also it's, I don't know. Original trilogy humor and banter is not my favorite. Just in general, I feel like it's tainted by a little bit of that 70s cynicism. Is a cool place. I love Yoda, and I love Yoda's interactions with R2-D2. R2 falling into the swamp is adorable. I think that the whole training sequence and like that whole like arc with Yoda and Luke is really fun and a good continuation of a hero's journey, like another like mini hero's journey within like a larger arc. Obi-Wan being like a spirit kind of thing is fun. It's just fun. It's a good movie. It's got a lot of good iconography. The whole third act is just like some of the best of the whole franchise. You've got the iconic line of like, "No, I am your father," not "Luke, I am your father." Darth Vader is just kind of at his most badass in this movie. And yeah, it's a good one. I like it a lot. My high A tier, The Last Jedi. Yeah. So I saw The Last Jedi by myself in the movie theater late summer of 2018. Experience was not my favorite. I wanted to go see it with somebody, but like I was willing to go by myself. I really liked Rose. I loved the addition of Rose. I loved her mission with Finn. Is it Finn? Yeah. Yeah. In that movie once in theaters and then once during my rewatch, but like I was drunk when I watched it. So like specifics are a little foggy for me, but like I very much remember the impact of it on me. And most of that impact is the Porgs. I think they're adorable. I love pointless little gimmicky Star Wars characters. I think they're some of the best. Much more so than Snoke. I feel like Snoke is such an odd villain. He comes out of nowhere. He's just kind of like a bad guy. And then I do like how Kylo Ren teams up with Rey. I almost said Leia. With Rey to defeat him. Wishy-washiness with Kylo Ren is kind of like frustrating to me. Again, within the context of that trilogy, like it's really frustrating to me. But the kind of divergence from the Star Wars formula in this movie is one of my favorite things about this franchise. I thought that it was so fresh. I thought that like Luke tossing the lightsaber, like having that iconic, like operatic sweeping moment with the like the lack of dialogue and just like a very symbolic moment happening, and then like he tosses it into the ocean and it's just like, yeah, fuck that. Like I'm very entertained by the direction that Luke has gone in his isolation and in his time. The whole like force bonding thing is kind of confusing to me, but like it's cool in like I don't like how it's used in The Rise of Skywalker, but like it's very interesting here. And I like the planet that Rose goes to, and like the liberation scene is really cool to me. One of my friends like criticized, she was like, I hate that like movies can't show just like extravagant wealth without showing the underbelly of that. Like I just want to see I want to see pretty opulent stuff. And I was like, I really liked the whole like arc with that in it, and like the liberation of the casino and that whole species and all that whole thing was really fun and cool. And went along well with like the theme of what I feel like the theme of the Resistance is. I really like the Resistance in this movie. I love Laura Dern's character. I also fully recognize that Leia like flying through space in that one scene is like pretty ridiculous, but like, hey, it's whatever. We love a moment of catharsis to mourn Carrie Fisher, like to celebrate Carrie Fisher. That piece of context is really important to this movie too. Like this is such a celebration of Carrie Fisher and what she contributed to the series, whereas The Rise of Skywalker, just all of the technology and like weird stuff they did to like make her so important to that movie is not it doesn't necessarily feel like a celebration of her. I get that her daughter was involved with the film and like approved of everything, but like I don't know, just that doesn't make me feel better about it. Yeah, The Last Jedi is the Star Wars that I will turn to if I want to see a different kind of it's a dark, spooky Star Wars. It's a different kind of Star Wars. And with that, we're gonna move up into S tier. So these are the two movies that I consider to be my favorite Star Wars movies. I'm not talking about the best Star Wars movies. Remember, I'm talking about my favorite. So the S tier ones, these are the ones that like, if that sci-fi cowboy itch hits me, I'm going for these two. Going for one of them, and then the other one is just like a really good movie. So my low S tier is Revenge of the Sith. And I don't think I realized that. Like, okay, that movie, as a child, I was very dumb, and I didn't realize. I did not realize that the prequels were setting up Darth Vader. I did not realize that until I saw The Revenge of the Sith. I didn't know Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader. So that being said, it like pissed me off as a kid. I was so upset that Anakin, this like cool guy, would end up being on the dark side, and much less like literally Darth Vader. So that really upset me. But that being said, it's a good movie. Like, it is a really good movie. R2D2 feels so bad for R2 in this one. The scene where they reunite is sweet. Oh yeah, so like this movie kind of establishes them as like gay uncles, like for Luke and Leia. It's really cute how they are like, Anakin, whatever, you're awful. Let's get like, come on, Padme, like get in here. Let's get these babies born. It's really good. R2 being, oh, that's why I said that. R2 is literally right-hand droid to the rise of the Empire. Darth Vader, like about to be Darth Vader. And it's like so sad because he's so cute and he's like not happy about it. And C3PO is like, yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's not my favorite R2D2 and my favorite C3PO, but it's like, it hits me. The movie just like everything is super epic all the time, and it's really overwhelming, and it's like a dreadful feeling. Like, as I rewatched it for this tier list, I was like, wow, this is really brutal. Like, this experience is just draining. Like, I forgot how dreadful it is to sit here and just watch like everything crumble, and to watch like all of the fascism to set in, and to like watch Anakin like kill the younglings, and to see everyone's reactions to everything, and like the whole like, it's just so sad. Palpatine, his performance in this movie is insane. Like, it is so good. Palpatine is wild, in a good way in this one. Not quite, I mean, like, yeah, he was great in The Rise of Skywalker too, but like the character wasn't good in that movie. Like, he's great in this movie. He's so funny. Like, he's so scary. He's so like, I'm a big bad man. Like, his like final transition from Palpatine to Sidious is scary. General Grievous is really intimidating. The Wookiee planet is cool. Just like the whole volcano thing is really scary. And that whole, like, the whole climax is just so sad. The battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan is so well performed. Like, where I complained about Hayden Christensen before in Attack of the Clones, like, he does kind of, as to the best of his ability, make up for it in Revenge of the Sith. Like, he really does do something in Revenge of the Sith. It's a weird something, but like, it is it's like an engaging something, so I'll take it. But yeah, especially Ewan McGregor's performance in this is just unmatched. Revenge of the Sith, like, it is the saving grace of the prequel series. I wish that the rest of the prequels were as good as this one, because honestly, that would probably make it my favorite trilogy. Now for S tier movie, Return of the Jedi. Sorry. I love this movie so much. Like, not just as a Star Wars, but like as a movie. And like, I wanted to say like, oh, nothing is sacred to me, like when I made this tier list, but like, honestly, the one that I watched the most as of the original trilogy as a kid is the one that I am the fondest of now. Because I don't hold the Star Wars series very sacred. I don't care that much about the story and like all of that kind of stuff. Like, yes, it pisses me off when the Rise of Skywalker happens, but like I'm not ultimately here for the story. I'm here for the comfort, the character. Like, this is my favorite of them as far as the humor goes. Like, just to see C3PO be the Ewok god is enough on its own for me. Ewoks are by far my favorite, like, Star Wars species. They are, like, redefined adorable. Like, they're not just cute, like, they redefine cute for me. I absolutely don't care. In fact, I love that they are the thing that brings the Empire down. I love that. I think it is so catastrophically stupid and perfect. And that's what I want out of my Star Wars. I want catastrophically stupid in a good way. Like, I want it to be ridiculous and entertaining, and to also, like, not contradict itself, really. Like, it doesn't make much sense that these little scrappy dudes with, like, tomahawks and stuff are gonna take down the Empire. But, like, there's nothing that happens in this series that, like, discounts that. So, like, whatever. It's fine. The whole Sarlacc pit set piece, like, that is iconic. I love... Like, as much as it pains me to see George Lucas sexualize Leia in that bikini, like, she really rocks it, and it's, like, such a good look. Carrie Fisher is so iconic in this movie specifically. I actually love, and why I used the picture for the tier list, I love her little poncho, like, her Endor look so much. It's so cute. And I love the aesthetic of this. I went to the Muir Woods up just north of San Francisco. I went on the big bus tour down there. As we were going through those giant trees and, like, seeing that landscape, I felt like I knew it. And as, of course, the tour guide was like, oh yeah, this is where the forest moon of Endor in the Star Wars film Return of the Jedi, da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, I knew this place. So, like, I don't know, I just, like, I think that's really cool. To the Sarlacc pit, like, the tension there is, like, some of the most believable and epic for me. I hate to sound like a 2010 memester, but, like, it's epic. But no, like, that whole set piece is adventure at its finest to me. I just love, like, the whole found family aspect of, like, the whole thing about Star Wars to me is not, like, the lineage thing that, like, the Rise of Skywalker and, like, kind of, like, the later sequels is about. It's not the themes of, like, your heritage, but, like, it's the themes of found family that are the most attractive to me. The movie that celebrates, like, the found family aspect of the original trilogy. Like, it's no surprise that that's my favorite of the Star Wars movies. That is my Star Wars tier list. I have kind of spent a lot of time on this series in the past few weeks, and I think now I'm probably not going to think about them for another few years or so. I mean, I'm going to watch Rogue One, but other than that, like, I don't know. I've had a little Star Wars moment and it's been fun, but now I'm going to move on. Anyway, thanks for watching this tier list video. I think I'm going to do another tier list video soon. Orville Peck's new album, Bronco, just came out, and I really love that album. And I kind of want to do a tier list of the tracks on that album. So that might be my next tier list video. Other than that, I am working on ideas for my next, like, formal video essay. So look forward to that. And thanks for watching.